Good morning. Good morning. A very good morning. I'm Ed Haertel. My pronouns are he, him, and whatever your background, ethnicity, family makeup, sexual orientation, gender identity, etc., you are most welcome here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Palo Alto. May you find nourishment and inspiration for your journey. I have a few pre-service announcements to share. Masks are not required but are encouraged. We express our mutual respect by supporting each other's decisions about masking, distancing, and other health measures. If you're here in person and you have questions about Unitarian Universalism or this congregation, please stop by the welcome table with the blue tablecloth and chat with the greeter. You can leave your contact information if you wish, and if you want to join the congregation, you can do so today. Please note the announcements in your order of service. In particular, I'd like to call attention to Starting Point, a group for newcomers meeting at this morning's service in room 6. Also following this morning's service, in the fireside room and also on Zoom, is an adult learning journey class, Welcoming in Difficult Situations, Active Bystander Training. Our welcoming congregation team is here to give us a quick taste of what that class will be about. Susan Owicki and Matt Rosen can tell us more about it. Susan, Matt?
After the service today, in the fireside room, the welcoming congregation and adult learning journey teams are offering a class to help all of us do the everyday work of welcoming and affirming our transgender and non-binary beloveds at church. And now we're going to act out a quick scene for you.
Imagine that we are two church members. Imagine, can you hear any better here? It's green. Okay, is that better? Okay, yeah, that's easier. Okay. Imagine that we are two church members talking after a class on transgender inclusion and welcome.
That was a good class. I learned a lot. It's just...
What?
Well, I still have a hard time with they, them pronouns. I was always taught that they and them are plural.
You know, I find that I use they and them as singular pronouns all the time. Just yesterday, in fact.
Really?
Yeah, I was at a restaurant, and when I sat down at the table, I noticed that the previous customer had left a wallet behind. So I called the waiter over and I said, "Excuse me, somebody left their wallet."
That's really interesting. I think I did something similar last week. I was driving on the freeway and a car suddenly zoomed past me and startled me, and I said, "Where are they going in such a hurry?"
I think most of us do that all the time already, but we don't notice that we do it. Our non-binary friends are just asking us to do it with intention and love.
You've given me a lot to think about. I'm glad we talked.
It was good talking with you.
What sets truly welcoming churches apart is how we navigate small but consequential moments like these. And some situations are more difficult than others. If you would like to practice doing this sort of thing, join us in the fireside room after the service for welcoming in difficult conversations, active bystander training.
Thank you. This should be a fun and worthwhile session. Finally, a quick reminder that starting 2 weeks from today, on October 12th, our Sunday worship start time moves to 10:30 a.m. So, next week, Next week, 10:15 a.m., same as today. Following week, 10:30 a.m. I now invite you to center yourself in your chair. Take a couple deep breaths, let your forehead relax. Shoulders drop, tummy soften. Let any mental chatter subside. Breathe again. And as mindfulness practice advises, be totally present to this moment. We gather, our different paths entwined, to deepen our spiritual lives, nourishing connection, learning from each other, caring for each other, tending to our world. As we follow the sound of the bell into silence, we allow ourselves to arrive here fully. Welcome.
Test, test. Oh, there we go. Good morning. Both to those here in person and online. And I am Reverend Peter Farriday. My pronouns are he, him. And I am UUCPA's interim minister for the next 2 years. Each Sunday, Unitarian Universalist congregations light a chalice, the symbol of our UU faith. Our accompanying words are adapted from reading 434 in our gray Singing the Living Tradition hymnal. Sacred Spirit of our radically connected Sacred Spirit of our radically interconnected existence and our deeply intertwined lives, help us to remember here our highest aspirations. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to the communion of all life, and to each other. In kindling our Unitarian Universalist chalice flame, we invoke and invite into this space the divine light of wisdom, the sacred fire of justice and compassion, and dedicate ourselves anew to bringing our fullest gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. Blessed be. Now please rise in body or in spirit and sing hymn number 1018, Come and Go With Me. The lyrics are on screen and in the online order of service and in the teal hymnal. Clapping and body movement are highly encouraged, AKA shake it but don't break it.
Good morning. If you are young or young at heart or very flexible, please join me up on the colorful quilt. We're going to do a movement meditation. But before we go into it, I was wondering, does anybody know something wonderful, something mysterious that happened last week? It was a change of the seasons. Does anybody know? Yeah, Maya. Yeah, it's fall. What happens in fall? Does anybody know?
Can you get people to come up again?
Yeah. All the leaves fall down. Please come up. You are so welcome up to the front. And you're also welcome to stay in your seats if you wish, because actually everybody is invited to participate in this exercise. So we're going to celebrate fall today by getting in touch with our internal trees inside ourselves. We are going to pretend to be falling leaves. So I invite you all, as you are able, to either stand up in place or you can stand up in spirit. I just ask when you rise, you make sure that you spread out enough that you have room to not hit your neighbor. So all my friends on the front, you guys can stand, y'all can stand up. So to start this exercise, we're going to take a deep breath in and exhale slowly out. Blow out like the wind in the trees. Let's do it again. Big breath in. Exhale. Like that autumn wind. One more time. Whoa, and exhale out. With each breath and exhale, we let go of anything that we don't need, and we feel the world move in us. Let's do it 2 more times. Breathe in. And exhale out loud as the wind. One more time. In. And exhale out. Ooh, thank you. So you can think of all the wonderful things this time of year brings. Maybe it's that the light is a little different, the clouds are a little heavier, and the trees are giving us a show as their leaves fall. So I want you now to imagine that you, yourself, yes, you are an autumn leaf, okay? So you are in the tree, you're still attached, but the wind is starting to move. You're starting to feel it. You're swaying to the left and to the right. Oh, look at this beautiful forest I have before me. Ooh, and you feel light. You feel free. You feel ready to float away. Wiggle your fingers. Yeah, wiggle them like they're dancing in the breeze. We're moving with the wind. We're going to sway, gently sway side to side. We're moving in that wind. We're a leaf caught in the breeze. And guess what? The breeze has caught us. So we're going to lift up our arms and mimic the way the leaves fall down. Once you hit the bottom, you can go back up again and fall back down. Ooh, we'll do that one more time. Fall back down. Wow, look at this beautiful forest. Ooh, I wonder what color of leaves we have. Maybe you're a red leaf. Maybe you're a gold leaf. Maybe you're brown. Ooh, all right. So as we're swaying, let's just think of some things that we're grateful for. It could be the fact that you are awake this morning. It could be the fact that you have hands that help you touch the world. It could be the fact that you are surrounded by loved ones. All right, so we're going to be the leaves now, and then the leaves are going to carry down to the ground. We're going to touch our knees. So. And then one more time. And if you're in your seat, you can just go like this. There we go. Yes. All right. And now that we're on the ground, let's place our hands on our heart. And just take a deep breath in. And exhale out. Let's put our hands on our heart one more time. Let's think of something that we are grateful for, something that connects us to this community, to this world. We're just going to take one last deep breath in and exhale it out. And I just want to do one last thing, and that is to give some gratitude towards ourselves. So take your arms, give yourself a hug, squeeze your heart, squeeze your body, grateful for all the time that has traveled with you. And then you can just exhale out and put your hands down. Ooh. Thank you, my friends, for making this beautiful forest with me. I think there's so much to be grateful in this world. We are connected. We are connected to the trees. We are connected to the earth. We are connected to one another. So I just wonder if anybody wants to shout out, what is something that you're grateful for? You can just shout it out. Fall. Yeah, we got a lot of things. There's so much to be grateful for. And I just want to say I'm grateful for each and every one of you. With that said, I think it's time to go to religious education. So if you are in preschool through 8th grade, you are welcome to attend religious education with us. If you walk down the middle aisle, we will meet you in the lobby. Your teachers will be there to take you to class. Thank you.
Sophia Lyon Foss, that's F-A-H-S, who lived from 1876 to 1978. Let me run those dates by you again. From 1876 to 1978, was among other things an author and educator who in the mid-20th century led something of a revolution in Unitarian religious education. Foss developed and promoted a method of experiential learning designed to help children develop their own ideas about religion and spirituality, an approach Unitarian Universalism continues today. This excerpt of her writing is in our gray hymnal, where it's entitled, "It Matters What We Believe." Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies. Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities. Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness. Some beliefs are divisive, separating saved from unsaved, friends from enemies. Other beliefs are bonds in a world community, where sincere differences beautify the pattern. Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction. Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration. Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness. Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth. Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world. Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life.
As a child, I learned that different people follow different religions and that these religions taught different things. Knowing little more than this, I naturally asked, okay, which one is right? I don't think anyone ever tried to teach me that only Methodism was right and all other religions wrong, although I did learn early on that many people considered only Christianity right and all the rest wrong. By the time I got to college, I'd settled for a time on the easy sophomoric conclusion that they were all wrong. Like just about everything else, religion seems a lot more complicated now than it did back in my college days. I'm not even sure how to define a religion anymore. My early question, which one is right, might make sense if a religion were no more than a creed, a set of propositions to be accepted as true, tidily summing up the common beliefs of all of that religion's followers. But of course, despite centuries of valiant efforts by various religious authorities, people within any group may come to believe different things. Even as individuals, we find our own beliefs changing over time. As Unitarian Universalists, one thing we can surely all agree upon is that we differ. Our UUCPA mission statement reminds us, we gather, are different paths entwined. Religious beliefs can be dangerous. As Marilyn Robinson wrote, we have seen Christians against Christians, Muslims against Muslims, fighting to the death over distinctions those outside their groups would probably never notice and could certainly never understand. When definitions of us and them begin to contract, there seems to be no limit to how narrow these definitions can become. As they shrink and narrow, they are increasingly inflamed, more dangerous and inhumane. They present themselves as movements toward truer and purer community, but they are the destruction of community. So, beliefs in any faith tradition may be tragically misused. A possible inoculation against such misuse is found in Buddhist teachings. On one occasion, the Buddha instructs a Brahmin about how one preserves truth. The Buddha says, if a person has faith, they preserve truth by saying, my faith is thus, but do not yet come to the definite conclusion, only this is true, anything else is wrong. Likewise, one might preserve truth by saying, my tradition is thus, or my conclusion based on reasoned cognition is thus, or my reflective acceptance of a view is thus, but again, one does not say, only this is true, anything else is wrong. Or as the contemporary meditation teacher Jack Kornfield put it, don't believe everything you think. So today, rather than asking whether a religion's beliefs are right or wrong, I would ask, what kinds of actions and attitudes does that religion support? What ethical values does it promote? Are those actions, attitudes, and values truly grounded in compassion? There are many lists of such values, none exhaustive. Some most important to me include honesty, kindness, and generosity, a commitment to justice, mercy, and humility, tolerance, acceptance, forgiveness, and of course, compassion. My own belief is that all religions, all creeds, all traditions are human creations, that no one is divinely given, but I do not insist on that. My faith is thus, but I will not say that only this is true. Thank you.
We take this time to recommit ourselves to our highest values. Sometimes a sorrow weighing on our hearts is the result of our own actions or inactions. We are human, we strive and go astray. And then we can find joy in noticing these moments and with compassion for ourselves and for others, gently leading ourselves back to how we want to be. In silent prayer or meditation, let us now recommit ourselves to this path as well as hold all we have heard with compassion and care. We now further honor all that was shared and anything in our hearts left unsaid by lifting these up in prayerful song. Please rise in body or in spirit and sing number 123, Spirit of Life. The lyrics are on screen and in the online order of service. Only one word comes to mind, wow. And thank you. I'll just say my dad, for part of his early career, was a choir director, and I sang under him, and my mom was an organist and accompanist, and I've seen the back stage view of how much work and rehearsal and practice these things take. So, Bruce, thank you, and thank you all. Elaine Pagels is a highly regarded American historian of religion and a professor of religion at Princeton University. Early in her career, she received the National Book Award for a work titled The Gnostic Gospels, a study of the more than 50 ancient religious texts discovered in Upper Egypt in 1945, a find that blew the roof off the scholarly understandings of early Christian theology and practice. Pagels later wrote a book focusing on one of these texts called Beyond Belief, The Secret Gospel of Thomas. In it, she tells this personal story. When I was 14 and had joined an evangelical Christian church, I found in the enthusiastic and committed gatherings and in John's gospel, which my fellow Christians treasured, what I then craved, the assurance of belonging to the right group, the true flock that alone belonged to God. Like many people, I regarded John as the most spiritual of the four gospels, for in John, Jesus is not only a man, but a mysterious, superhuman presence. And he tells his disciples to, quote, love one another. At the time, I did not dwell on disturbing undercurrents, that John alternates his assurance of God's gracious love for those who believe with warnings that everyone who does not believe is condemned already to eternal death. Before long, however, I learned what inclusion cost. The leaders of the church I attended directed their charges not to associate with outsiders, except to convert them. Then, after a close friend was killed in an automobile accident at the age of 16, my fellow evangelicals commiserated, but declared that since he was Jewish and not born again, he was eternally damned. Distressed and disagreeing with their interpretation, and finding no room for discussion, I realized that I was no longer at home in their world and left that church. To me, Elaine Pagels' early, and as it turned out, formative experience is a perfect illustration of the opposing psychological poles of this parochial level of religious belief. Because scholars who study morality find that this, or any type of highly structured belief system, both binds and blinds. It binds people by creating communities with a shared viewpoint, and generally, the more certain and exclusionary the viewpoint, the tighter the bond. But that same certainty also blinds members of such communities to the possible validity of other perspectives and to the harm their own viewpoint might inflict. In some cases, it even blinds them to the very humanity of those they consider different, as the ongoing legacy of religious and other us versus them intolerance and violence demonstrates all too clearly. While he doesn't use these terms, Yale professor of psychiatry Bruce Wexler describes this binding and blinding in his book, Brain and Culture. He explains how early in life, our brains are highly malleable, so our inner world, including our developing belief system, is open to new input and can readily adjust to new data. But after young adulthood, our brains become less elastic, so many people unconsciously start trying to match their outer worlds with an increasingly inflexible inner one. One main way folks do this is to cluster with others who consistently confirm their views and interpretations of the world, a strategy that contains potent psychological and physiological reinforcement mechanisms. Because when our inner beliefs and outer perceptions align, what Wexler terms consonance, we feel good, while its opposite, dissonance, engenders doubt and anxiety. He further reports that such worldview clusters don't just passively affirm, but, quote, actively increase the conformity of members' beliefs, and that those who espouse positions contrary to those of the group are chastised, devalued, and threatened with exclusion, which itself is another common source of both mental and psychosomatic distress. But all this then limits people's exposure to experiences and openness to perspectives that don't already match their beliefs. When you add confirmation bias, in which people seize on data and arguments that support their beliefs and ignore or discredit conflicting evidence, the cycle of desired certainty often becomes self-perpetuating, whether or not that certainty is justified. Mythologist and spiritual teacher Michael Meade sums this predicament. He says, "Belief is one of the biggest problems in human experience. You can believe something that is completely untrue. Most people do." And of course, such blinkered beliefs have very real and often regrettable effects on other people's lives. Elaine Pagels, for one, found such hurtful blinding among the evangelical church members who uniformly said her unsaved friend who was tragically killed was forever damned. And this exemplifies a stanza from our reading. "Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies." And in her grief and her distress over her churchmate's conclusion and finding no room for discussion, young Elaine left in search of such wider and deeper sympathies. Many others have had similarly painful experiences. Now, I recognize that a wide range of interpretations and expressions exist within religions. I also realize that people are individuals and not simply members of any category. Yet, at the same time, folks do belong to groups, and sometimes an affiliation is the primary source of their identity. And as the shared beliefs of such groups espouse matter, and the shared beliefs such groups espouse matter profoundly, both in how people view the world and how they act in it. As another stanza from Sophia Lyon-Foss underscores, "Some beliefs are divisive, separating saved from unsaved, friends from enemies. Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences beautify the pattern." If you heard either of my past two reflections, you know I've already been elucidating aspects of this distinction, including some crucial ways that Unitarian Universalism's free exploration of spiritual and other questions differs markedly from many faith traditions' no room for discussion cultures. Which is not to say that UUs don't also need to be mindful of where we might be a bit blinded or too attached to the comfort of our inner consonance. Still, the basic attitude and atmospheres are worlds apart. To illustrate, let me quickly put Elaine Pagels' youthful church experience in a larger context via some thoughts by M. Scott Peck, the late American psychiatrist and best-selling author, most famously of The Road Less Traveled. Peck describes 4 stages of religious or spiritual development. In the first stage, people often possess no particular spiritual views, or if they do, they're fairly vague, and/or they're simply considered unimportant. Stage 2 is what he calls formal or institutional. This is the letter of the law stage of the overly literal and often rigidly judgmental religious fundamentalism that Pagels encountered. And Peck considers this stage, the formal stage, is the stage where most religious adherents can be found. The third stage is what he calls the skeptic or individual orientation to reality. Says Peck, people in this stage are usually scientific-minded, rational, moral, and humane. They tend to be not only skeptical of the spiritual, but uninterested in anything that cannot be proven. And there are thinkers at this stage who insist that the antidote for the detrimental consequences of stage 2's religious blindness is to reject all spiritual assertions as nonsense. But what they don't seem to realize is that the literalist stage is not the only mode of spiritual understanding. And indeed, M. Scott Peck lists another, final level of spiritual development, one he calls mystical/communal. He writes that here, people are rational but do not make a fetish of rationalism. They feel deeply connected to an unseen order of things, although they cannot fully define it. They are comfortable with the mystery of the sacred. Now, there are some UUs who mostly remain in the modern skeptical/individual stage and who question that any unseen order exists in the universe or our lives. But in contrast to more blinded but binded spiritual communities, here they can freely voice that view. And here they sit side by side with others who are very comfortable with the mystery of the sacred and perhaps feel deeply connected to an unseen order. How radically different this freedom is from the stage 2 separating saved from unsaved religious home Pagels felt compelled to leave. And let's recognize that for all the undemanding security and belonging found in such groups, there are countless people in them who live their lives in straitjackets, secretly yearning for the freedom to simply be themselves and be accepted for who they are, a freedom UUs expect and enjoy for ourselves and freely grant to others. And recalling both Michael Mead's observation that belief is one of the biggest problems in human experience, and that Pagel's story came from her book titled Beyond Belief, how would our world be enriched and ennobled if all people now moved beyond belief? That is, beyond the warring separatist dogmas and ancient animosities of stage 2 religion, and beyond that same clannish level of consciousness which also appears in cultural and political factions, and into a big umbrella consciousness of world community that sees beauty in diversity rather than threat. In short, it would mean the world. That is, perhaps, our very survival. For as Sophia Lyon-Fawz's final stanza proclaims, some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world. Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life. Among other places, this UU congregation is one place such pliable, life-giving saplings are nurtured. And at this time, when rigid body of death beliefs are frantically trying to compensate for their ultimate impotence by freezing a changing world in place, too often through hatred and violence, this is no small thing. In fact, it's just the opposite. It's huge, immense, vast, immeasurable. Hence, I'll close again by sharing the full wise words of Sophia Lyon-Fawz, because indeed, it matters what we believe. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies. Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days and with fears of unknown calamities, and I will add, adults. Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness. Some beliefs are divisive, separating saved from unsaved, friends from enemies. Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences beautify the pattern. Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction. Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration. Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness. Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth. Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world. Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life. Namaste, and blessed be. As part of Unitarian Universalism's free church tradition, this congregation accepts no money from any governmental body nor from any ecclesiastical authority in order that we shall remain free to govern ourselves. In addition to their annual pledges, each week our members and friends may choose to give an additional contribution as a public witness that we are and shall remain a free faith. You can use cash or check or the QR code or text info in the order of service. Please give generously. Beautiful, thank you. Before our closing song, I want to just offer a reminder that there are 2 classes happening after the service. One is the starting point class for newcomers, so if you're fairly new and you heard anything today that you're more curious about, please consider joining that. I don't know the actual room for that, but I'm sure anyone on the patio or the usher team could help you find it. The other one is the skit that it was at the beginning, the active bystander training is also happening today. So please consider attending one of those if you're able to today. Thank you. And I also want to add a small coda to my sermon, which is simply to acknowledge that I realize that staying open to a certain amount of dissonance in one's worldview, including one's spiritual understanding, isn't always easy. So for anyone who would really like to believe in something uniform and absolute, I recommend some wisdom from Benjamin Franklin, who stated his theological view plainly. Beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. And with that hallowed thought, please rise in body or in spirit and sing hymn number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. The lyrics are on screen and in the online order of service.
chalice extinguishing words today come from Elizabeth Sell Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Whether online or here in the main hall, please stay after the benediction for conversation. We begin with greeting time, a chance to speak to someone you haven't met before or haven't seen in a while. As always, thanks to everyone involved in today's service, including our worship tech crew. Now, if you're online, please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and touch hands virtually. If you're in the main hall or the patio, please rise and reach out to hold hands if you and the person next to you are comfortable with that, or to show that you are connected in spirit, cross your hands over your heart while we say our benediction together. Go out into the world in peace. Be of good courage. Hold fast to what is good. Return no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Rejoice in beauty. Speak love with word and deed. Honor all beings.